Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode of Monomaniacs. We are currently in perhaps the most aggressive. Is aggressive a good way to describe?
I mean, malicious.
Malicious ice storm.
Malevolent, yes. Actively attacking the region.
It's true. It's strangely just southern Michigan.
Yeah, strangely, about 100-mile radius in southern Michigan.
Just destroyed by an ice storm.
Mhm.
So we're talking to you, not live, of course, but we were talking to you from the throes of said ice storm. Last time we checked the temperature in this room, it was somewhere around 25 degrees.
And dropping.
Dropping
by the second.
So who knows if our sound equipment is going to be able to make it through this. We've already killed the dog.
Used it for body heat.
Used it for body heat. We've, I'm looking at Dylan now as a potential.
Oh, come on.
So,
on. You know I don't.
Actually, first off, it would be Josh 100%.
Yeah,
Josh should be going down first.
Who's here as well, but he's in such a pile of fur.
Yes.
He was the one, of course, that skinned the dog.
Yes.
And
He is now in a pile of dog furs.
Yes. After all the neighborhood dogs that he has also
and
killed.
he keeps asking us to get in there with him naked for body heat and all that stuff.
Just, I don't know.
I think
he's got ulterior motives.
Yeah, I think we pay him too much for that. I mean, if we paid him nothing, then I would feel sorry for him and do so. But
we have paid. At least we have paid him in one dog fur at this point.
Yes.
So he has received
the barter system goes that far. But yes, we are. As you can see, we are doing this by candlelight, trying our best to maintain our responsibility as broadcasters to you guys.
It's just entirely journalistic honesty and integrity that is keeping us here. Because we'd be doing an injustice to the people if we did not record an episode and give it to them, regardless of the environmental circumstances.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we have not skipped an episode yet.
Yep, that's
never once.
Never once.
Never once has there been a week without an episode.
That has never happened.
Never once happened.
God and dare I say, or Satan, who is attacking southern Michigan at this point.
You can't say "and" on that one. I don't think. I don't think they're tag teaming.
I mean, who knows? They might have had two separate plans to enact justice upon southern Michigan.
There's a Venn diagram, and that Venn diagram is centered around southern Michigan, Hillsdale County, Hillsdale County, Michigan. Yeah, so
strikingly God's country and the devil's country simultaneously.
I think that's actually a good way to describe it. Things have been pretty rough. We were without power for a little while, but Dylan has been without power for much longer. Things are pretty tough. We just don't have internet. I have no idea. Actually, I'm thinking I don't know, tomorrow actually I'm going to upload this episode
True,
so that we can later post it. Editing, it's going to be a problem.
But we will find whatever avenue we have to.
Yes.
Right, because again, journalistic integrity.
Yeah. It's about getting the story out.
And the story is we are on the ground floor of southern Michigan, or in the basement at this point.
We are in the basement right now.
Freezing our tokuses off.
Yeah.
For the sake of content.
So it's been pretty intense. It's been wild. I was at Walmart over the weekend, and the lady was like, I went into the farm store in Coldwater, Family Farm and Home, and she said that they had sold somewhere in the north of 200 generators. They totally emptied their stock out. Everybody didn't have power. It's been street to street still. There's still places without power. A lot of places, including my place, that don't have internet in Hillsdale proper. A lot of places in Jonesville don't have power.
Well, I mean, we were on national news, Jonesville, for the sheer amount of ice, I would say, that fell upon our
it was strangely beautiful though in a lot of ways. I was walking.
Well, in the way that a car accident is beautiful.
I don't know if I'd go that far. But I was walking around, and you could see that there was every individual branch was just encased in
a half an inch of ice.
Ice. Yes, I during the worst of it, when all the power went out, I was playing board games at a friend of mine's house who lives across the street from me. So I didn't leave my wife at home while I gallivanted halfway across the state or whatever. I just walked across the street for a few hours, and while I was there,
the fact that you felt like you had to justify that.
Well, I only say that because my mom called me while I was there, and she said, "Is your wife home in the dark?" And I'm like, "Oh, I called her a few minutes ago. She's fine." But while I was there, all the lights went out. We actually had a very interesting game of Frostgrave that we played by candlelight and by lamplight, which is very cool. It was fun. There was, a lot of beer and a lot of boys and just having a great time while literally Transformers were exploding outside. I went outside to go to the bathroom and I could see over the hill because I live a few blocks away from the middle school, but like over by the middle school, like a fireball just explodes in the distance. Like there's a cloud of purple and red.
It's kind of like how in COVID there was this period of time where everybody was like, "Oh, this is kind of fun. Like this is a whole fun little thing that we're doing." And then it, as longevity sets in, it feels disastrous.
Based on what I saw online and the conversations we've had in person, I think it was just so bad. I don't think that anybody felt like they were having a good time. I think we individually did because it was like me and a bunch of people who really didn't have anything to worry about. But there was a lot of people who seriously had some serious problems.
No, it's one of the longest weeks of my life, I would say. Yeah, dealing with all of it, and
because you lived in exile.
I did. I was out of my homeland and was metaphorically out for 40 years at the very least. But I don't know.
You committed your own exodus.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the sins committed in this home, right?
Well, I think that the killing the dog probably just bought you another 40.
Exactly. Jeez. No, so any dang way, having to live outside of your house in another person's home that doesn't have internet is tough. That is tough because the one I would say escape often, right? When it's like, okay, well, so, I love my in-laws.
Yeah.
And we had a great time in general. But like, there's a period of point where everybody's like, all right, now let's all do our own little thing. But you can't do your own little thing.
You didn't bring a book?
Well, no, because we anticipated that the power would have been on in 5 to 20 hours.
They didn't have a book. They didn't even have like one of those 25, 250 movie fun facts or anything along those lines.
Well, we just sat and we read Trivial Pursuit cards for 75 hours.
Cool.
It was great.
Whoa! Did you know that the condors got
the wingspan?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Washington's eagle. Yeah, we talked about that previously. Yes. But with that in mind, the dog is growling. She's coming back to life.
Apparently the dog is coming back to life and it is growling at us.
Oh, Jesus. I'm zombified.
It's probably that...
Josh is being strangled by the pelts that he is currently wrapped in.
Yes, I feel like that blanket you're wearing might be part of the foundation for that.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't like the blanket, you don't think?
Oh, it looks like a lot of eyes, so it makes sense.
That's true. The evil eye. But no, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It just exasperated the issue. And the thing about it was I still had data, so I could still do things, but I would always do them at a painfully slow pace. So it just made it more of an exercise in futility of like, oh, I got to do something to distract myself, but everything I do just reminds me of the fact that I am...
Just reminds me of her.
Yes.
Internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Trivial Pursuit, during the throes of the power being out, I very rarely got data. I actually was dataless for most of it. Mm-hmm. I was dataless and powerless. And but during the throes of it, I got a little bit of data, and I was reading about how to train to win Jeopardy. And it's just like you imagine. I thought there would be some sort of special strategy or like something that people do.
They just read trivia.
It's just like buy flashcards. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Just imagine that stack of flashcards.
Buy flashcards. Yeah, except for there's like a couple of things. Like there's like this website that you pay like a subscription fee to, and all the money goes to Parkinson's relief. So I don't know why you have to pay a subscription.
I thought you were going to just end at Parkinson's.
It goes to Parkinson's. It's in support of Parkinson's, making sure more people get Parkinson's. But you got to make some. You got to do some morally dubious things to be good at Jeopardy.
Yes, exactly. You got to break a a eggs to make that
they do test prep that they update fairly regularly.
Yeah,
but there's a whole book on just how to use a buzzer properly. It's called Art of the Buzzer.
Like a whole book?
Yeah, it's like
how many pages?
I assume it's like now like can't be more than 45.
Yeah.
There's you can buy a whole book on how to how to train yourself mentally and physically to hit the buzzer when you know an answer. Like you have to sit there with it and like while you're doing the cards, they're like, hey, what's this national flag? Nigeria. You know what I mean?
Well, it's crazy to me that you would. I don't know what the application process for their show is like, but you can train for
it's
years and years and never get on Jeopardy.
Well, yeah, you can. Most people who do train, though, from what I've heard, like you're pretty likely actually to get on Jeopardy if you're good.
Yeah.
Because how it works is every month, I think they record like once a month or something.
No.
And every month they have a new, I don't know if it's every month, don't quote me on this, but they have a new trivia test that they put on the website, and you have to do it. And if you succeed and you get like a high enough score, then you like meet with the producers in a Zoom call or whatever. And then they decide if they want you on TV. And then you go out for a week. Which reminds me,
you know what would be a great guest for the podcast would be Pat Sajak. How funny would that be if we could make
That'd be out of control.
That would be insanity.
We'd have to actually get that studio ready first if we were to actually get
exactly.
Pat.
Yeah. We're not. He's not going to come down to our basement, I don't think, or my basement.
For those of you who don't know, Pat Sajak, who's on Wheel of Fortune, very different.
I know. I'm just game shows. We're association.
He is in Hillsdale fairly often, so it could be. Who knows? We'd have to raise our profile.
Everybody at Pat Sajak.
At Pat Sajak. He is actually very active on Twitter, so that is something you can do. You can add Pat Sajak to come on the Monomaniacs podcast.
Oh, just a fun additional thing.
What?
So not only was I in Exodus, I was in Exodus without a vehicle, without a car.
That's true because
a power line fell across my driveway.
Yeah.
We could not get the cars out of the driveway. And so we were trapped either here or wherever we were at. And so we couldn't even, escape from whatever location we were staying at the current moment, which, led to you giving us a ride, on one particular occasion on Saturday morning.
It's true. We had breakfast at our good friend Joel Scholl's. I drove out to North Adams. I picked you up, and I brought you back in one piece.
Yeah. But I do feel like you're bearing the lead a little bit on it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess it is important that we were in one piece and we did survive. But in the interim, in that between getting picked up and arriving at Joel Scholl's house, we, in fact, got into a car wreck accident.
No, none of the things.
The definition of this is still tumultuous to me, or nebulous to me.
It's a snafu. We got in a car snafu.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to hear if there is a legitimate description, because when I say car accident, people assume that somebody got hurt real bad.
No, not at all.
Or if I say car wreck, that implies that the car is destroyed, right? In this instance, we simply lost all control of a vehicle and slid off of the side of the road down into a ditch on farmland.
Yes,
right?
And then drove through the farmland. That's something we did, for sure.
Yes, that is something that did happen. Now, what the actual definition of what that could be is a question. So, I mean, I don't know, or the exact title of it, but...
The dog, Josh trying to discipline the dog right now. He took off the fur, so he's smacking the zombie dog with the furs. Yeah, no, I don't know. We just ended up off the road.
Yeah. But, I mean, we did drop about 6.5 feet. Off that. It wasn't a small drop. This was
but luckily for
launch
you,
off of the edge of a cliff.
Luckily for you, I drive.
Well, I mean, if you call that driving.
Well, I wasn't. Who knows if I was driving when that happened? But I do drive, and the vehicle that we were in was a lifted Jeep Grand Cherokee, and you're supposed to mud with those. Those are off-road vehicles.
Is that that justifies it then? This justifies, or is this just a lucky coincidence?
I'm saying that I felt safe going out on the roads knowing that I was in such a vehicle. High safety rating, very reliable. We hit a patch of ice and things went out of control. But
yeah, I mean, whoever was driving at that moment, yeah, definitely. I wonder what was going through their head at that time when they got out of control and fishtailed off into the
I think that they're very calm.
Yeah, I think they were so calm that it was disconcerting how calm they were about the whole situation. to be honest, I mean, the fact that they got out of the car and looked and said, "Oh, didn't bend anything. The frame looks good. Let's go," and then we proceeded to drive.
What would be preferable for them to do?
Be like, "Oh man, geez Louise, I'm sorry, guys. That was rough. That was a bad one. My bad." I don't know.
It was a freak accident. I know that you have constructed a timeline of events.
Not true.
A timeline of events that apparently occurred, but that was not true.
Yes, dude. You
there was not
no.
Exactly there was not
on the way from that point to our destination. No changes in the driving methodology.
Yes, because I was driving just fine.
No, but it's psychotic to assume that you were based off of an accident on an icy road.
No. So what?
To come out of it immediately and be like, that wasn't my fault, not my bad. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
Because what would have been a prefer? Wait, you want me to go to 15 miles per hour? Was that what we were hoping for?
I don't know. I mean, maybe some sense of acceptance and dialing back for the sake of making everybody feel as though we were all on the same page there. I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, actually, there's something that really would have made that happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was called communication. It's called not being a sneaky bitch and saying that you felt that way.
Dude, what am I supposed to do if
you'd be like, slow the hell down? You can say that.
Yeah. And then you'd be like, whatever, dude, whatever, frick, man.
Or you could say, no, you don't even have to do that. You could be an adult and you could say, hey, Shadrach, a man who drove all the way out to North Adams in the ice to pick us up for a stupid breakfast. All right.
The breakfast was not stupid.
The breakfast was not stupid. The breakfast was great. But you could say, hey, Shad, could you, just for everybody's feelings, could you please slow down? If that was so important to you.
I did it for the exact same reason.
But instead we have to litigate this on podcast.
No.
Because you refuse to just be frank with me. Just be frank with me.
In the moment.
Don't be Dylan, be frank.
In the moment, all right? There I was. Completely flabbergasted. Shooketh. Without my usual aptitude for conversation and social cues. Unable to navigate the situation, right? To paint yourself as the victim in this circumstance is insane.
No. The reason I'm saying so is because in our post-mortem, you've constructed a fake version of events. Sometimes things like that just happen. And I'm not gonna sit there in the driver's seat and wring my hands and do the thing where you go, man, wasn't that crazy for the entire ride home? I'm not gonna do that, right? I have to focus. I had to focus on getting us home.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Right?
Or getting us to breakfast.
Yes. Right? Which I risked my life in order
and ours as well.
No, well, you risked your life by getting in the car and joining me, in which I was already risking my life.
This sounds like we're entering into trolley problem territory.
Oh, no. We're entering into you're losing the argument, so now you're bailing out.
No, that is not true.
100%.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
This is compelling radio.
We have struck upon perfect content.
Well, I said, look, I don't think that you look. I'm sorry if I didn't, do the thing where I turned around and said, "Is everybody okay?" I'm sorry about that. I should have thought about feelings. But what I was thinking about is, well, we got to get back, and so I did what I had to do. I went over there and I had to do what I had to do.
Okay. Well, I accept your apology.
I also don't think that, look, you're going to call me defensive. You're going to call me an idiot. But I don't think I did anything wrong. I think that literally we hit a patch of ice and I went over. And I know that in the postmortem, you have constructed this whole thing about a car coming the opposite direction.
You're talking about a postmortem I haven't even described to the people.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, so he claims that a car came in our direction.
I can speak for myself. Okay. A car came. We turned a corner. A car came on the opposite side of the road. Shad moved away from the car a little bit too far towards the ditch, overcorrected back into the road, started to fishtail and lose control.
No, that's not true. It's just not true. Because
and so in my
first off, there was no fishtailing. The fishtailing did not occur. Literally, we were going straight and we just kept going. We lost some back wheel traction and we kept going, right? Look, that car did pass us. Mm-hmm. But in the event, you mentally, which makes sense because you were far more stressed apparently than I was, you constricted the event into happening in a much shorter period of time. That car had gone past us like 30 seconds ago.
Okay. Well, you know what? This is not this is there's no way we can actually litigate this because this is just
No, I know.
Both of our perspectives on the situation.
But what I'm saying is that based on my recollection, all right,
I say based off of my recollection.
We may have been coming out of a curb, right? But I believe I am in my brain until you mentioned it. I wasn't even I did not when we were going over the edge and when going over the edge. It wasn't 6 feet tall. Okay, you blundered on that. It was 4 feet.
No,
it was no. We didn't jump 6 feet. We didn't jump a whole guy's length.
Blatant.
That's me tall. That's me tall.
Yes.
We did not fall directly me tall.
Dude, we were over the edge. No, behind us, the road was at least halfway up the car, maybe more.
No, it was but it wasn't like a sheer cliff.
That is not 100% true.
What do you mean? You can't, how can there's a difference?
Dude, blatant subjectivism in the 21st century.
Okay,
right now.
Okay,
just exemplified by Shad. It is fake news.
No,
on this story.
It's not fake news.
I feel like I feel like I understand why people don't come forward about this kind of thing because I'm just being fed lies. I'm being told. I'm being gaslit right now.
No, okay,
my experience is not valid.
Look, not until you mentioned that I had dodged a car and resulted in us crashing or whatever, did I even remember there was a car.
Are you trying to tell me that I'm gaslighting you into believing that there was a car?
Yes, or something, because I even now thinking about it cannot picture the car.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to go into this anymore. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? There was a car.
Yeah, maybe.
And then
I remember there being a car, but I'm saying as a part of the actual event, there was no car. I remember there being a car, and then a chunk of time later, something happened.
Listen. I have only one more thing to say. Only one more thing to say on the matter.
What? Yeah, what? What is it? What, Mr. Victim?
Mr. Victim?
The dog is on your side, apparently.
Yes, exactly. Fight him. Fight him for me. I mean...
Also, hold your mic properly. You sound like you're a rapper.
Is that better?
Yes.
Goodness. But we got Shad worked up right now. Shad is PO'd at the moment.
Yes. I'm PO'd because this is a public crucifixion. Because I said...
This is not a public crucifixion.
Yes, it is, because you said, well, you know what we could talk about on the show today? We could talk about the car thing. And I was like, well, we don't have to do that, right? And the whole reason you're doing this is so that other people will see this and they'll come out with their own opinions and all this stuff. And now I've already got my wife and my mom in opposition to me because they're like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a thing Shad would do. What an idiot, Shad, crashing the car. Got a call from my mom. It's like the first thing she mentions. Oh, you almost killed Dylan, whatever. Not the case.
Listen. I think
it was much less of a big a deal.
I think if with time and some hypnotherapy, we will be able to bring out the truth from within your psyche. I think now's not the time. It's too fresh.
I'm sure that the tracks are still in the dirt. We could go.
I think we should go look.
We could go look.
Tomorrow we're gonna go look.
All right. Tomorrow we're gonna go look.
Josh isn't going into work tomorrow. Maybe he can go look.
Yeah, because we're recording this on a Saturday. I mean, why would he be going to work on a Sunday? Anyway, what time is? How are we doing on time? I've lost all track of. 23 minutes. Is 23 minutes in? Yeah. Okay. I think we can move on from this conversation.
Okay.
If you've got an opinion, especially if it's pro me, that I would say
shove it up your pie hole. That's what you're doing. Unless you're a patron, you can pay for it. You can pay to tell me that I'm wrong.
Yes, please, I appreciate it. Or pay to tell me I'm wrong, but preferably above $10. I'm not gonna. Not for anybody who's not paying $10. I'm not gonna take your opinion. Right? Exactly, guys. This show. Because it is a show. I don't care what people say. I don't care what you're thinking right now, Shadrach Strehle.
If it wasn't so cold, I'd reach across this table right now and strangle you.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I know
I'd make you wish that you died in that car crash.
Well, I know right now that I can't feel my fingers, and I doubt you can either. And if you were to reach across to strangle me, they'd probably break on impact.
They'd
probably just snap right off. So, I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel a lot more secure than I did about a little while ago in a certain Grand Cherokee. All right. So one of the things about the show is that we are Patreon supported. We got patrons who help support the show. And I just want to take an opportunity to thank our patrons for supporting us and helping us be able to have the equipment that we do and, potentially help us with the payment of a studio that may be coming along in the near future. And so keep an eye out for that. That's still in the works, still up in the air, but we're excited about the potential there. And yeah, thank you so much for that. And first off, I want to thank our top patrons, Sammy Roberts, Zach and Amber Strehle. Thank you so much for supporting
Joe
the show.
Papalardo.
Joe Papalardo as well. I mean,
he still is a top patron.
He's still a top patron?
Yeah.
All right. In our hearts, still a top patron.
Yeah. No, he's earned it for a long time.
I mean, I think that probably just from the sake of, I mean, we don't need to litigate this right here, but in our hearts, Joe, you will always be.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
100%. We have loved your support. If you donate $1, you can get on our Discord. We do stuff like we're going to do a book club starting. So if you're interested in hopping in on that.
A book called God's Chinese Son.
Yes, which is about the history
of the Taiping Revolt. It's going to be very good. But if you want to participate in the actual conversation, then you're going to need to
hop on that Discord.
Hop on that Discord
and pay. But also, you get the episode a day early.
Yep.
If you pay the $1 tier, and then the $5 tier, you get access to our Patreon post show. Which will be, even though it's so cold, I guarantee it'll be twice as hot. So, I mean, that's the Dylan Shadrach guarantee.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what he's going to accuse me of on the Patreon that's going to make it so hot.
It's twice as spicy. And at the $10 tier, you can ask us questions that we will answer on air, right? We got some questions, specifically from Samuel Roberts. He sent us 3 solid questions that we're going to go through. And so, let me get this up there. Blah, 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 blah.
He's like, this is taking a little longer than I thought it was going to.
I didn't expect this song to go on much longer. Okay. Here we go. We got first question. It is March, and March is Lent, and Lent is the fish time.
Yes.
There are plenty of fish in the sea, we know, but what fish is the best fish? Cephalopods do not count, but crustaceans do.
How does
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why that's the case.
That seems arbitrary, Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, why would you say that a lobster is more of a fish than a octopus?
Yeah,
it doesn't make much sense to me.
Doesn't make much sense, but we'll follow by your rules.
I mean, you paid for it, so I mean, we'll follow by your explanation.
What about sea reptiles?
What about sea snakes?
A snake.
A snake. What's sea snake? Okay, what's the best fish? What is the best fish? Do mammalians count? We talking whales? We talking dolphins?
The cetaceans? Cetacean Nation?
Yeah, Josh is giving us a hard no on that.
I'm thinking that if cephalopods don't count, then cetaceans definitely don't count.
Okay. I don't know. Is a cephalopod a cold-blooded creature?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't think they have hearts. Or they probably have hearts, but I don't think they have.
Yeah. Don't octopuses have one heart for each tentacle? They got it at the end there. Yeah.
No,
I think
you're
true.
Thinking of a starfish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they can grow. What about a starfish?
Yeah. What is that? Is that a cephalopod? I have no idea.
Now we're just getting into the fauna. We're getting into the animal kingdoms.
Exactly. The actual definitions.
Starfish is
what is it? It's a echinoderm.
All right, Sammy, if you're so smart, are they in this question? I don't know.
I think my favorite fish is...
It was hard for Josh to reach out of that pile of dog skins to text to write into his phone.
Almost as hard as him pronouncing it.
Yeah, exactly. It was tough.
Man, I don't know, actually. I'm not a huge fish head. But
I'm not a fish punk, like the others.
I like walleye a lot, mostly because I think they're very delicious, and I think that they're ugly as hell, which is cool. They're very spiny for a freshwater fish, so I like walleye, and especially if we're talking eating fish and for fish time, since it's not quite March yet. It'll be March by the time this episode's out, but I think that definitely I'm going with the walleye. Mm-hmm. Also, I once went to a hockey game where somebody threw one into a trash can, which was pretty dope. So
yeah, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no context needed on that, of course.
No.
Well, so it's kind of weird because I don't even think there's classic bar conversations or first date conversations, and I don't think that what's your favorite fish is really on the on the menu there. Though there's definitely fried cod on the menu there. I think that having seen a flying fish in the wild, I will say it's a flying fish, only because that's just, I've seen one. I can say that I've seen one. I have a story attached to it, so I will say a flying fish.
Well, there's a story?
I mean, a story being I saw a flying fish.
That's not a story.
I was on a boat in the Caribbean on my cruise, and there was a flying fish that went "Ga-doom," and I was the only one that saw it.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
And I was like, Abby, there's a flying fish. And she was like, I didn't see it. I was like, well, it was cool, I guess. Yeah, there it was.
That's almost as good as me on the last show. I think maybe it was the Patreon where I mentioned I saw a muskrat.
That must have been the Patreon.
Have you ever seen those videos of the flying fish just like just decking windsurfers?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So that's what this is about. You know, the animal kingdom rising up, right? Actively fighting against man. Yeah.
Colonizers. Mm-hmm. We have no place on the sea. We are land creatures.
Exactly. This is the land of the manatee. They are the true masters of the ocean.
All right, what's next?
All right, cool.
I'd say actually probably the whale is the master of the ocean.
That's true. The next question was, what is the master of the ocean? That's kind of funny. No, wow. No. Okay, interesting. What is the grossest hotel experience you've ever had? Have you had a gross hotel experience? You've been in a lot more hotels than I have.
I've like got the normal ones where it's like you gotta like there's like hair and stuff and you gotta call that thing. But I think actually probably my wildest. I had 2 wild hotel experiences. When I was living and working in DC, I lived in DC proper and I worked across the Potomac in Alexandria. Or Roslyn, which was near Alexandria. And on 2 separate occasions, I stayed at a hotel in Roslyn. One was when the protests were really bad in the summer and the trains were getting shut down. And I just thought rather than just risk the trains getting shut down when I needed to commute, I was just going to stay in a hotel. So they paid for a hotel for me. And then the other time was election night because there was like some insinuations that if the election had gone one way, like, DC could have gotten a little crazy. So the election night had its own thing. I drank a lot of really cheap champagne and didn't have a very good evening. But for the protest summer, I was sleeping and someone started screaming at like 3 a.m., but it was not like somebody screaming in terror or like screaming at somebody. It was like somebody making ghoul noises. Going like,
somebody was pretending to be Frankenstein.
Yeah, well, and then there was banging, right? And I mean, it's like, not to make fun of the guy, but somebody had Tourette's. Mm-hmm. And so there's somebody on the hall was having like a major Tourette's attack. Mm-hmm. And so, but when you're like half asleep and like it's 1 a.m. and you're in an unfamiliar bed, like normally I'd be like, whatever, that'd like wash right over me, right? But I was just so convinced. I was like, I'm going to die. Like somebody is in this hotel right now and their goal is to kill Shadrach Strehle. And like, there's like those moments in your life where you sit there and you start thinking to yourself, like, I think I'm good with God.
Yeah. Or it's like, if I had to die right this second.
Yeah, you're like, I think I'm good with God. It'd be a bummer, but, it's just, and I was literally thinking that. I was like staring and I was like, okay, well, I've been in confession in the last couple of weeks. I guess that's okay. I don't know what's going, and yeah, it was pretty intense and like, heart palpitations. I ended up like, I ended up being able to get back to sleep and then the guy had another attack and then I just was like, boom, I was up again. I would like open the door. I was looking outside, like just half expecting someone running down at me. And I ended up calling the front desk and they're like, yeah, it's just like it's just a thing you got to deal with. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I know that it's just somebody who has, a disability. It's not like I'm going to get murdered. So yeah, pretty wild. Yeah. Pretty wild.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call that a gross experience, but maybe gross as in the gross injustice.
Yeah, well, I feel like everybody's heard like, oh, I opened the comforter and there was hair in it or whatever. But I mean, what about you? Did you once go to a hotel and there was hair in the comforter?
Yeah, I mean, I opened the comforter and lo and behold, a full wig fell out. No, I think that if I had a gross experience, it was. How about this? How about just like skeevy experience? Just like kind of gross was when I went to New Orleans.
Oh, yes.
And we went to a hotel called the Saint.
Yes.
Which is a boutique hotel, which I think is for young 20-somethings.
Yeah.
Who are a little bit more on the wealthy side.
Yeah.
Who are looking to get down in LA. Well,
yeah.
LA, but they ended up going to New Orleans instead because it was cheaper to get there.
Now.
Yeah, because they live in Florida. No,
yeah.
So long story short is that it's like a really heavy modern decor. I mean, they had like in the lobby, they had those hand chairs, you know, from
gosh, I hate those hand chairs.
Arrested Development or whatever. They had one of those hand chairs. And like, you know, the chandelier like had like mannequin arms on it or whatever. You know, it's like that whole kind of thing. The bar that was in the hotel had burlesque Thursdays.
Wow, okay.
So it wasn't like, because I know it's really popular to have like drag nights and stuff right now, but like no, it was like a full like this is a burlesque thing like for sexy ladies to come out. So I mean that's weird to just have at your hotel. But the other thing is that the hotel room itself.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so first off, there's a series of suites at this hotel.
Yeah,
right?
I imagine they'll have names.
Well, one of them is the Lucifer Suite.
Whoa.
And that one, it comes with an erotic dancing pole.
Nice.
Yes. Well, sorry, not erotic, exotic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, those that are in the exotic dance world. I did not mean to imply that you are
all
sex
the exotic dancers who are in.
Well, listen, I don't know, man.
Podcast.
I know the reach of this is just exploding.
Yes,
you know?
we got yeah. Yeah, the YouTube shorts are actually performing fairly well. So who knows?
It's funny. But any dang way. So you know the kind of place it is. Well, going into our room, there was just a full length mirror on the wall behind the bed.
Nice,
right? And you know, I don't want to be crass. I don't want to, but you know why that's there.
It's like when Becky and I got married. On our wedding night, we got upgraded to the, to the VIP, and like every nice hotel room I've ever been in, like really nice one, because I've had an opportunity to be in some like really nice hotel rooms. They've always got some weird crap with the shower.
Yeah.
Like you can always see into the shower
from the room.
It's just weird. It always makes you feel like this is where people go to like cheat on their wives. Mm-hmm. Like you feel like, oh, this is them meeting their mistress in Memphis or whatever. Like we went to we were in Memphis and we were in this we didn't stay in it, but we went in this corner suite. Mm-hmm. Like when it's like 3 rooms worth on a corner on like a high floor. And the bathroom, literally the shower was in the middle of the room. And it was a column of glass. So it was just like
see-through glass?
Yeah, it was just like, it's like, oh, the cocktail party is just making its way into the shower room now. It was insane. And you're like, oh, okay, this is like, for the David Bolzarians of the world or whatever. It's the Andrew Tate suite.
Yeah.
So stupid.
But no, the other thing that this hotel had was an intimacy kit, is what they called it.
Nice.
Which was sort of,
no need to elaborate.
Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing that you would usually get at a mini bar at your hotel.
Was it? Was there like flashcards, and so you could grow an emotional intimacy with your spouse?
What is your sort of
describe your love languages?
Yeah, describe your darkest moment in your mind. When you felt the most vulnerable as a person.
That's some real emotional intimacy.
Exactly. Goodness. So anyway, that was pretty gross, I gotta say.
Okay.
But it was super weird because the Ritz was like half a block over.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were staying at that Ritz because that's where the conference was being held. And they were all saying that it was the grossest hotel they'd been in a very long time. At the Ritz, there was like pee on the seats at the toilets.
Yeah.
And I do not get this. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes a Ritz isn't going to always be like the New York Ritz.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Depending on where you are. Sometimes just
I hear the name and I'm like, I want, put me on some of that.
You're sitting there sipping your chicory coffee and Dr. Nut. Yeah, this is a thing that was big in the 50s and 50s through like the 70s in New Orleans. This soda called Dr. Nut. I'm currently reading a Confederacy of Duntons, which takes place in New Orleans. So now I'm full of New Orleans facts from like 1958.
Perfect. I mean, it's the ideal time to know any facts about
exactly.
anything.
Yeah, it tasted like amaretto. That's what the soda tasted
like.
Ooh, that sounds like it would have been
really good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. How about this? When was the last time you did something for the first time? This is tough for me.
Last time I did something for the first time. Today I spent an entire day working in a coffee shop, which I've never done before. It sucked. I hated it. Sorry.
Sorry.
I had no fun.
You got to apologize to everybody.
The place that I worked at just had bad seats. And like, that's fun when you're sitting there and you can like lean back and you're working on your, like I don't like putting my laptop on my lap. So it's like I can't like lean back. We're getting ordered. Dylan is ordering Josh.
Just let her out.
Yeah, just let the dog out, dude.
She's whining too much. I mean, I get it. She's skinless. There's pain. I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. And also like a coffee shop's like a fine place to work in some circumstances, right? But it's fine most of the time when everybody's following coffee shop rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
not the case.
Yes.
Well, especially because the particular coffee shop you were at is a coffee shop bar, right?
Yes.
I've been in circumstances where those two.
It was not the bar element. It was not the bar element. It was the fact that there was just somebody who wouldn't shut the hell up. I was sitting there trying to focus on something, and somebody was like, just scream talking to the person who was across the seat from them. You know, somebody who can, stay quiet, I guess. I was just like, and then I think the place is like had some personnel changes or whatever. But whoever was running the coffee shop, this is the second time that this has happened since I've been there. They play like the Hobby Lobby instrumental worship music. And man, rough. It sucks. You're sitting there like I caught her humming. I caught the lady humming while she was making my Americano, and I was like, I see what you're doing. So I don't know.
Hey, our God is an awesome God. You
know?
It
was. What's that song? All together lovely.
Yeah.
All together worthy. What's the? I forget what it's called.
Wonderful to me. Here I am.
Yes, it was Here I Am to Worship, and it was. The worst thing about those instrumentals is they're not even impressive. It's like just so half-assed.
It's just the melody with some piano behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was. Yeah, so that was going on, and so I was in like a weirdly bad mood because of that. I was like, "What is this? 2013? What's going on?"
Jeez, yeah. I didn't become a Catholic for this.
Yeah, exactly. Where's On Eagle's Wings?
Yeah.
We have our own cringe music. Why aren't we playing that?
Oh, goodness. Now,
what about you? What's the last time you did something for the first time?
I'm trying to think because generally I have a very regimented lifestyle in which I don't really like to try new things.
Yeah.
And the things that I do try that are new are non-consequential. Like I played a new board game for the first time, stuff like that. You know, things that actually have no tangible impact on my life whatsoever. So if I had to make a concrete call on this, oh man, I can't. That's the thing. I can't even think of one, and that I think is just indicative of a larger problem with my lifestyle in general, more than anything.
I actually, I can say another thing I did for the first time to bail you out of having a boring life.
What would that be?
I made pizza.
Oh, you made pizza?
So I didn't just make pizza.
Well, I make pizza all the time. I just open up the box and I put it in the oven. Stove.
Yeah.
It just goes.
Your Giornos.
It takes about 15 minutes. I like to go 14 though if it says 15 because I like a little less than crispy. So if I always say if it says 15 to 17, I do that lower end. So fun fact about me.
And then you eat the entire thing,
and then I eat the whole thing in one sitting by myself. So.
That's classic, like my wife's not here move.
Yeah.
I always tell people like when they say like what's it like being married? I say, well, it becomes very obvious to you very quickly why, well, two things: why men grow in weight when they get married, but also why they live longer. Mm-hmm. It's a weird simultaneous thing because like, yes, you're eating better, and more often than not, you're eating more in some ways. But there's certain things that you just don't do which are going to increase your lifespan.
Yeah.
And one of those things is just the thing that you normally would do as a bachelor that just another person being there
prevents you from doing.
Preventing you from
because of shame.
Because of shame.
Because you wouldn't want to do this in front of another person.
And so like eating an entire pizza in one sitting, right? Which is something that as a bachelor, when I was living in DC, I did not do often. But when I was in East Lansing, I would do fairly often. And coincidentally, I gained like 40 pounds. I was very fat.
Well, so funnily enough, just I think it was like 4 weeks ago, I went to do some errands on my lunch hour.
Yeah.
When I got back, and I had bought a pizza. It was a smaller pizza.
Yeah.
Not my usual medium size. Brought the pizza back. And I did not expect my wife to be home when I arrived. She was there. She was on her lunch early.
And then you had to
and she was like, oh, goodness, you got a pizza.
Yeah.
For us. For lunch. And I was like, yeah. And then she knew what was going on immediately. She knew that I had not bought the pizza for her. And I had to double back on it. And I had to be like, no, of course, I bought it for you. I mean, why would I eat a whole pizza by myself on a Monday morning?
There's certain things that change, you know, like that changes. Yeah. Well, there's also the added element of like, you know, like in my mind, if I eat poorly, it's like a treat just for Shad. It's like a Shad treat, right? But the one time I had eaten, like I had actually finished recording here, I was like, I'm going to get myself a little fast food. Ate a fast food, then went home, and Becca smelled it on my breath. She was like, are you trying to make me not eat food with you? What is going on? You didn't even text me about that? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even imagine that you possibly would want. I just, you know, this is the thing that I do. Yeah, I mean, you know, much has been said about how marriage rips you from solipsism and forces you to actually value and think about
other people. But which is the pits.
It's the pits to do so. Yeah, marriage not worth it. Total scam. Get out of there, dude. Enjoy your freedom. Die at 45, baby.
Like every man has been meant 2 sets of bronze.
Yeah, exactly. But I made a pizza. I made several pizzas actually. We received from a very generous family member a uni for Christmas, which I don't know if you've seen them, but they're a pizza oven. You can get them like indoors. They can be like electric and stuff, but this one's propane powered. And yeah, it's just like it takes like 25 minutes to heat up, and it's just like a full ass pizza oven it's really small. It's not permanent structure. You can move it around, etc. And you just put it on a table outside. And then you can like wood fire Neapolitan pizzas.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that I had a discussion with recently with future guest of the show, Dr. Daryl Hart.
Did you talk to him about being on the show?
Yeah. Goodness. But it's funny because I told him when we were there, I was like, oh, we finally got Miles on. I could tell. He was like, why wasn't I on? I'm like, dude, we've tried to get you on the show. Just come on the show.
Yeah.
I've asked you. No, so we were talking about how, and I won't get into that. Maybe we'll talk about this on the Patreon, but there's a particular entrepreneur who's coming into Hillsdale to buy up a lot of real estate.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he subscribes to the podcast, so he knows who he is.
Yeah.
But one of the things we talked about was whether or not Hillsdale needs another pizza place.
Yes.
Right. You know,
that they're opening a wood fire pizza.
Yes, exactly. And so, you know, the thing that, you know, we could argue is that we have a lot of pizza around here, but it's a lot of the Domino's, it's the Hunger Howies, you know, it's the Cottage Inns. You know, we don't have like a nice pizza place like like that. And so, you know, the only way to fill the niche currently is to make your own pizzas.
Yes.
Right. And, you know, I think that generally, you know, we've got an oven that operates as a pizza oven, you know, an electric oven that does that. Generally, I'm just like, I mean, I don't know why I would need an additional wood fire pizza when the amount of money you would be spending on something artisanal, right?
Yeah.
In this area, you know, the amount of time and effort put into this pizza is not big enough for this to be, you know, worthwhile in my experience.
So what?
I think like going to an artisanal place would not be worth it because I think that
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of work. I got to tell you, it's a lot of work. It's very cheap. You can make a lot of pizza for real cheap because dough is, you know, nothing, and you know you can be judicious about your toppings and do a lot of good work there. But I mean, if you're talking about a pizza oven of any size, because the average person like has this thing called the pizza pit. It's this part of their stomach that exists solely for eating large quantities of pizza pie, and so like you know you can just pop out like 10-inch after 10-inch after 10-inch after 10-inch pizza, but you know like to feed more than 2 people. Like 2 people, you're going to need a personal pan pizza for each of those people, right? So it's a bit of a it's hard work, and I can imagine it'd be a little easier to go to like a wood fire place, and you know also you know it's just
but also then like spend $30 on a pizza.
Yeah, it's actually going to probably be pretty expensive.
$30 for a large, probably. It's like
that's actually probably not going to be $30. That you're overshooting it with $30. But
overshooting it?
I think so. $30? No way.
If you go to
how much is Cavoni's? How much is Hungry Howie's? $16. I bet
for a large
you.
pizza. Okay, yeah.
But I imagine. How much is Cavoni's? How much is a large pizza at Cavoni's? Which is would be equivalent. That's a locally owned, not here, but locally owned, nice pizza place. Great pizza, by the way. Highly recommend.
Say $20-something.
Or excuse me, am I thinking Cascarelli's?
You're thinking of Cascarelli's.
Excuse me, my bad. Cavoni's, not a big fan, but Cascarelli's, definitely.
Yes. The Cavoni's is definitely under $20 for a large pizza pie. I guarantee that is the case.
Yes. Cavoni's grape grinders. You can get a good grinder there.
Yeah.
Give you indigestion. That was heartburn no matter what, but it is tasty. What? Yeah, the Wi-Fi is slow.
What? Yeah, I mean, because the internet, the power is all out.
Yeah, exactly.
The internet, the power is all out. Oh, the data is slow.
The data is slow. Yeah, okay. Cascarelli's, I guess that'd be the question. Maybe
because I think minimum $25 for a large pizza if you're like trying to do something nice like that. That's the thing, is it have to be price competitive.
But there's a difference though between like Neapolitan wood fire, also, because like Neapolitan wood fire pizza is cheap because it's super thin and really low on toppings.
Yeah, but you're not paying for the materials. You're paying for the preparation and the ambiance,
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
So, I don't know. I'm just cynical. But,
okay.
If you want a nice pizza like that right now, you got to drive a significant amount of time, and usually places that have large waits. And so, you're doing it right. You got a pizza oven to go for.
Well, there's some dope pizza. You can go get some Detroit style at Clavon's, but that's like 40 minutes worth of driving. It's more than 40 minutes, actually. You got to go past Jackson, don't you?
I know, it's about 45, and then you've got to wait 45 when you get
but
there
you just order it.
To go. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Yeah, I don't know. But like, if you're going to drive 45 minutes, why would you pick up a to-go pizza?
Well, sometimes when your wife is like, I can't get out of bed and I need Cavoni's, then you do that. Sometimes you do things for your wife. But anyway, yes. So I did, I guess I didn't know that this would be triggering some sort of weird rant from you about the price of a pizza pie. But
I've thought about it far too much. I had a long conversation with Dr. Daryl Hart about it.
Okay. Maybe we can have more of a conversation with him on the show about it. But I want to ask you a question, actually. In your mind, what would be required of a person in order for them to get having a pizza oven? Mm-hmm. Imagine you have a pizza oven in front of you. It is at the perfect temperature.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you need to do in order to make sure that there is a Neapolitan pie in front of you? Burnt edges.
What are the steps?
What are the steps? What are you trying to do?
I take the piece of dough, the piece of pie. I spread it out on a corn flour.
Okay.
To make sure it doesn't
Normally,
stick.
Neapolitans, you just use regular flour. You don't use cornmeal.
Well, let's just
it's
say
called
that,
cornmeal.
I got a Midwestern wife who has Midwestern ideas about pizza and corn flour. And so
corn. It's not called corn flour.
Cornmeal.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought it was called corn flour.
It's called cornmeal.
Cornstarch. It's a different thing.
Very different.
Anyway, you put that on there. Spread that bad boy out. You grab a ladle of the sauce, put the sauce on it. You put the cheese, the topping, the cheese. Slide that bad boy in, and it only takes less than 5, maybe a little bit over 5 minutes.
No, it's even less than that.
Yeah,
if it's at the right temperature, it should only take like a minute, maybe a minute and a half, if you're really like unsure about the temperature and stuff.
So why did you ask me how I would make a pizza?
Well,
pie?
because it's more nuanced than that.
You just said that to gatekeep me?
Yeah, I did.
Jeez.
I wouldn't let you anywhere near my uni, which is a stupid name for a thing. Yeah. I was actually watching a lot of videos in preparation for my maiden pizza voyage, because we're going to be doing a birthday party for Rebecca in which we make large quantities of pizza. But in my maiden pizza voyage, I was watching these videos, and it got launched. It only got launched in Britain first. I think it's British. And so all the YouTubers are British, and there's this guy whose like thing it is that he records every pizza he makes. Like you all know, I record every one of my pizzas I make. You're like, oh, I do know. But
what a life! What a grind!
And like his thing is that he makes like pizza every other day. Basically, records every pizza and then has like tips and tricks and like shows and he's like obviously I don't know. It's odd. He talks all about like yeast quantities and etc. I don't know. We didn't have any problem with the dough. I actually probably should have let it rest longer because you got to like proof it properly and give it plenty of time to rise.
But that's just like
reduce the gluten content,
baking and stuff.
Yeah, spread it out properly. I made a mistake on one of the pizzas because here's the thing. Here's a step that you have to take. First off, you have to spread it not on the peel because the amount of flour that you need to make it malleable without getting sticky is so high that you don't want to like cover your peel in it. So you have to do that. Then you got to move that from the cutting board or the working surface onto the peel, and then you put the toppings on.
All right, I'll bite. I'll bite. The peel is the paddle?
Yes.
The sorority paddle?
Yes.
That you put pizza on?
Yeah, it is the peel. But the problem is... What?
Did you say pee hole?
No, I said peel.
Not the pee hole.
It's peel.
You're
not on the damn show. Get back in your furs, dude.
Yeah, you cover a man in dog furs and he resorts to his baser instincts.
We're going to get comment after comment. People are going to be like, can't hear the freaking producers. Yeah, because we'll give them a microphone for a reason.
He says stuff like pee hole.
He says pee hole.
This is a Christian podcast.
It is.
Jeez Louise.
Our God is an awesome. But I made a mistake. I ended up making 2 calzones because
hell yeah.
While it was on the work surface, I put all the toppings on. And that weight difference is enough to make it impossible to get that thing on a damn peel. So everybody was in the other room enjoying the evening, listening to music and talking. And I was in there just like, trying to fold it. I ended up just like rolling it onto the peel and then throwing it in the oven. And of course, the second one was very undercooked, but first one was okay. But yeah, no. So you do that, you throw it on and then you have to generously flour the peel, and then you put the pizza on the peel. And the thing that everybody screws up, the thing that everybody speaks on,
this number one thing,
and like if you look online on like how do you use this uni, the number one thing is like the launch. So they call it. When you put the pizza onto the pizza stone, it's called
from the pee hole.
It's called the launch. And so there's a lot of different ways to launch your pizza. There's all sorts of tips about like making sure you don't have to use as much flour, like lowering the yeast content, doing proper distribution, doing something called the hovercraft method, where you pick up one edge of the pizza and blow under it to like create an air bubble. Josh is looking at me like that's unsanitary. The thing is burning it like 900 degrees. It's like 815 is like usually where I launch the pizza at. So like nothing can survive. The pizza barely survives.
Yeah, the pizza barely makes it out alive.
But then so the launch, and so I mean for me, I just basically just put like I had a spatula that was covered in flour, and I would just put it underneath the pizza and then try to spread enough flour, because then you have to like test it. You jiggle it, hoping to like get a good slide. You launch it. I did not have a failed launch, which is great. I did like 6 pizzas without a single failed launch, which is rare. Most people have failed launches.
Yeah, wow. See, Shad, not only is he a pizza maker, but he is actually a young, exceptional savant.
I am a pizza prodigy. Almost as good as you talking into your mic properly. Pointed in the right direction, dude.
I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this.
Just hold on to the thing. The thing tells you.
I know the little microphone nipple was trying to direct me.
Wow. Okay, but it's kind of crazy though, because you launch the pizza, and then you look inside, and literally within seconds, the crust is rising, it's crackling. You see the cheese melt. You see everything kind of like solidify. So I don't have a very important tool, because most pizza ovens have one flame, and that's in the back. And that's creating like very, it's like cascading over the entire thing, but it's still like creating a heat in one direction. So what you have to do is you have to rotate the pizza multiple times. So if you're talking about like if you're going to a wood fire or something, you got somebody where they've got this peel that's different than the launch peel. That is like this.
Of course. Why would it be the same?
Exactly. Which is like a stick with like a circle on it, and you use it to flip the pizza around so that it can get cooked on all sides. Nice.
Chad, if I come to this party on Saturday and you do not have a turn peel, I don't know what I'm going to do. You're going to lose your pizza making.
Well, I got to order it soon if I'm going to get it in time. But but the difference is that my oven has an L shape on the fire. So like about half of it's being cooked at any given time. But you still have to shoot your peel back in, pull it out, and then like take tongs or your hands or something and flip it around and then throw it back in. And at that point, you have to move it around a couple of times, get a good heat differential. There's it's all about zones. Like you got to there's 3 distinct heat zones on the thing. And
so would you say that this is really, you're talking about this like many men talk about, say, grilling and or golfing, where there is I
was wearing my white New Balances in the process. So
you were fly as hell.
Yeah, Josh Palladino came over and was like, you got your Z's on? You got your damn Z's on? Yeah, but so it feels like that.
Yeah,
it felt like that.
You have fully. It's funny because we did not go into this.
Yeah,
with the assumption of talking about any monomaniacal obsessions, but I mean, I think Josh would agree that this is pretty much sounding like Shad went into the freaking deep end on pizza.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. So if we want to have somebody, there's a different deep end on pizza than what I'm in right now. I really have no patience for I really do not want to read or watch videos about it. I find it very boring. I enjoy the process.
And yet you have a full analysis at the start of this conversation about a particular YouTuber about pizza.
True. That's true.
So
I enjoyed the process. It's I really didn't what's making me remember was when I was really doing a lot of cocktails.
Yeah.
And I was writing about cocktails and I was making a lot of cocktails. And, I really enjoyed the rush of making stuff for 10 people and doing that sort of thing and being kind of the center of attention, and that I wasn't even really at the party and I would just show up and be like, and have a thing that you're going to like. And they're like, wow, this is very good. So it was scratching that itch pretty hard. Just I'm in the lab making Zaws.
In the Zaw lab.
I'm in the Zaw lab acquiring large quantities of Zaw. So it was good though. I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see.
I feel like this is a transcendental experience for you. I feel like you have witnessed the divine, and are a changed man because of it.
Yeah, I still have a lot of work on my pizzas.
My
last one turned out pretty good.
She's a pizza.
She sauces marvelously. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, now of course it was one of those things where it wasn't really that hard. And if we prep the dough and stuff in time, it's this might be the activity of the summer.
Could this be a pizza boy summer?
This might be a pizza boy summer because, if you've got, have pizza oven will attract, have pizza oven will travel. Hopefully, some people were because we had a couple over and one other person, and they were like, what if we brought pizzas,
toppings for you to make in your oven
for the birthday party? What if we just brought just whole pizzas for you to cook and all this stuff? And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, I guess I can.
Yeah, I might as break it out.
Throw them in the uni. See how it
see how it crisps up. I mean, it won't be my stuff, so I can't really guarantee that it's going to be, it's going to really work in the oven.
Yeah. So it was fun. Yeah, I'm excited to see kind of how it goes. I'm hoping. I mean, it went well enough on the first shot to where I'm not feeling like it's going to be one of those things where you do it once and you're like, yeah, whatever. I think I felt good enough.
You could be a guy that's his thing.
I could.
This is where we're headed.
I could travel too. I could throw that in the back.
You could be a traveling pizza guy.
I could throw that in the back of the Grand Cherokee, go into a lake with it, and then sell it. Put it all in insurance fraud. No, I could. Go to Lake Bobby's,
make pizzas by the lake.
Got a table. And some
you are
propane.
going to be just like the dream of the Hillsdalian who just walks by and says, I wish to someday be that man.
No,
a guy that can make wood fire pizzas.
I'm sure that there's just going to be so many dudes. What the hell you guys got there?
Ew.
What, is that a pizza oven?
Is that a unai? Unai is what they call it? Yeah, it's one of those Japanese things, that unai.
It's not quite. I do kind of have a feeling, though, that it would attract some unwanted attention.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's flamboyant in a lot of respects.
Negative attention, but just unwanted as in I really don't want to have this conversation with every single dude who walks by. Every dad's gonna be like, "What the heck is that? You got a pizza oven over there?" But yeah, so we're in the Za era. Za era.
Shad's in the Za era.
The nice thing also too is you don't need power to power the uni.
There you go. And in these dark times,
considering just how apparently compromised our electronic grid is, then
it's true. When the nation falls, there will be a pizza oven.
Well, I need propane. I don't know if there'll be much propane when the nation falls, but
it's true.
You actually hook it up to natural gas too. You can buy an adapter so you can hook it up to your natural gas supply, which I think is hilarious.
That is a great situation.
Yeah, I have no idea where the heck I would even do that.
I mean, hey, you don't have to drive to the store. How about that?
Yeah. I think propane's a lot more inert than natural gas is, if I'm not mistaken. So
like less explosive.
Yeah.
Well, then it's less fun. That's what I have to say about it.
Oh, okay, you're right. We should be enjoying ourselves as much as possible. All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
I can't feel my toes. I will probably lose my leg to frostbite because we recorded this episode, because I've been sitting still this whole time.
So if you have an opportunity to subscribe to the Patreon in order to get Dylan a new leg, perhaps we can get him an ivory leg, and we can be just like our whole thing and be Captain Ahab.
Wow, incredible.
The ultimate monomaniac is back, baby.
Yes. Well, regardless.
We should start an ivory leg tier. That's just all the money goes towards acquiring a large ivory leg.
Dude, if we just put an ivory leg up on the wall there, dude, that'd be cool as hell.
Oh, speaking of which, we forgot. Oh, man. I forgot on my rush out, the studio does not have the the sign that was included in the last episode, the gift from Sammy Roberts.
Ah, yes.
The gift from Sammy Roberts that I paid most of for.
Yes.
Yeah. The Tool Rules sign.
Yeah.
So
we'll get there.
Sammy, I'm sorry. I will make sure that's in the next episode. But
all right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Stay safe out there.